You're listening to Real Talk Texas with local expert Steve Hakes. Now, here's Steve.
Welcome back to Real Talk Texas. We're talking about the real estate market and how it's really heated up here, and we're talking about how to make sure that your offers are being accepted when you're out buying a house. And again, we talked to a lot of realtors that are getting multiple offers. I always wonder, I go, how's that work? I always thought the first offer in got the deal, but it's not the way it works. The way it works is that listing agent can sit there and say, we're accepting offers during this time frame. I've heard realtors say, we've listed our house, we're going to accept offers for the first 5 days, and we're going to sort through them. Man, that's so different from what people were doing a year ago. We've also talked today about the housing values, and I've been predicting that housing values are going to be unprecedented, how they're going to skyrocket back up in this year of 2013. And I must have a crystal ball because MetroTex Association of Realtors reported the first quarter 2013 home values went up 8% over last year. Pretty incredible. Again, I don't think that's been done here in our marketplace. We really feel it's going to sustain those values and continue to increase. I kind of think we're going to go up around 20% this year. And that'll get us back to where we were in 2005, 2006, before the meltdown. I really believe that's going to happen. And I think one of the reasons is that we've got a stable real estate market here in North Texas. We've got a high demand of people wanting to buy houses. We've got a lot of jobs here. People are moving here. All this construction you're doing, we've got reports from the Texas A&M School of Real Estate. It's saying that we're going to go in the Metroplex from just under 7 million people in today's market, and we're going to be at over 13 million people here in North Texas in the DFW Metroplex by the year 2030. That's not that far away. 16 years from now, 17 years from now, can you imagine? We're going to have another, 5 million people moving into our Metroplex. So with that demand, I think we're going to have, during that time frame, we're going to have a strong demand for housing. I think prices are going to go up. I don't think there's any other marketplace that's talking about this type of increase. So it's a good time to be a seller. It's a good time to be a buyer because now you're buying at the low end. We've hit rock bottom, so it's time to go do those things right now. We talked in the last segment about how to go from a pre-qual to being a buyer, cash buyer, and how I can do that for you here. And you need to get a hold of me if you want your offers accepted when you're getting ready to place it. Don't just get a pre-qualification from an internet site or even from a lender locally that just wants to give you a pre-qualification letter. Yeah, we start with that, but within a few weeks, you want to get a pre-approval letter from them or from us where it says that you are credit underwritten. An underwriter has seen you. They've seen your tax returns. They've seen your way you calculate your income. They've seen your assets, your money you've saved up to buy this house. Or they've seen your listing agreement on your current home, and they know what your payoff is, and they know how much money you're going to clear when you sell your house. So those are the things we look at for people, and we credit underwrite you, make you a cash buyer so you're ready to go there. So I want to talk a little bit about why I'm an affiliated bank and why I'm got an advantage over every other lender in the marketplace that I know of. And that is that we have something called a Make Sense Mortgage. Not only do we give you the best rates, lowest fees in the Metroplex for regular loans, we also offer a great deal for the people that maybe you don't qualify for an FHA loan for some odd reason. Maybe you don't qualify for a jumbo loan for some odd reason. I mean, there are things where I look at people and it just makes sense to give them a loan. And, but the agencies and the underwriting guidelines are so strict right now that they just don't fit in that box. So I'll give you a couple examples. We've got a situation where we've got now this is on the higher end. We've got someone that is a doctor, and they built a house, and in the price of that house, the debt on the house was $1.2 million in Dallas. And what happened was, when they first started building the house 18 months ago, his credit scores were in the 700s, and there was no problem doing the takeout letter. And takeout letter is basically when a lender looks at you and says, "Okay, we'll be there to give you a permanent loan after you do your construction loan. So a local bank did a construction loan. And so finally, this doctor heard me talking about this on the show. And he called up and said, hey, I'm having some problems because my credit score is below 680. I've got some credit cards that went on. I mean, they had a credit card at every department store or internet site. I mean, I've never seen so many different open accounts on somebody's credit, and it hurt him. So his score was below 680. And he didn't qualify for an 80% loan on his house. So he's built this house. He's got this debt in the construction. The bank's saying, hey, we want paid off. This was a 2-year deal, and the time's up. We need to get you off this construction loan. You need to do a permanent loan. It's not a permanent loan. So we tried to help him, put him into a jumbo loan. Couldn't do that because of the credit score situation, couldn't make it change fast enough. So we said, what do we do? This guy totally made sense to do his loan, great income, owns interest in several of the hospital or medical centers in Dallas. So it made sense that we did this guy's loan. We got 20% equity in the house. The only thing that's holding back is this one little thing called a credit score. His credit was perfect. It was the amount of credit that he was using. So I call it, it's an in-betweener, which Gary Graham, our president and CEO, talks about. It's a tweener. It's not a subprime loan, so he's not going to get like the 12% interest and 4 points. And those products aren't even around anymore. So we put him on our bank line, and we gave him a bank loan. And I call it parking them. We take that person, they get in their house, we put them over here, and then we work on their credit, and we refinance them out once we get everything fixed. But what happens in today's market is it's moving so fast. If you don't have it, if you're not ready to go and move in, someone else is going to buy that house, or someone else is going to make that offer, and it's going to happen very quickly. So another good reason to call me first is because, not only can I get you the regular deal, but if by chance there's something that there is a glitch, maybe you had a short sale. It happened a lot here in North Texas in the last year or so, 5 years actually, where people maybe when home values go down, or maybe people that are relocating here. I talked to a person from California, and they had a short sale on their credit, and that's really considered that you didn't pay back that loan as you agreed to when you took the loan out. So it's a ding. And so what FHA says is you can't have a foreclosure or a short sale or a deed in lieu of foreclosure within the last 3 years to get an FHA loan. With Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, these are agency loans again. And with jumbo loans, it's 7 years. So they're a little stricter. Okay? So I've had situations where I've had clients that had that situation. They were moving from California. They had a short sale 5 years ago. They were putting 20% down on a house. The house was over the $300,000, so they couldn't fit into a FHA loan. They had to go with a conforming loan. They didn't fit because they were 5 years out of that or 4 years out of that. So what we do is we put them in a make sense mortgage, and because it totally made sense. They had cash. They were putting 10 or 20% down on the house. They had reserves after closing. One of the things we look for there is, okay, not only did you have at least 10% down, preferably 20% down to get the best rate, but you also need to have money after closing. And so when you have that makes sense to me because you're financially stable. So those are the things that we look for on the Make Sense mortgage. It's really not for somebody that's only going to put 5% or, our first-time buyer that only put 3.5% down. That product's really not the right fit for it. What we're looking for is that person that's just a near miss. They should be getting a loan, but because of the tightening of regulations, and we see a big opportunity for our bank to get a lot of those loans, and we're doing them every day. But you have to talk to someone that really understands how that works. So you want to pick up the phone, put in this number, 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. If you've got cash put down on a house, you've got money in reserve, you've got something that happened to you that's holding you back, then you've gotten turned down by a lender, you need to call me. You need to leave a voicemail. You need to send me a text. If you need a Make Sense mortgage, just text the word Make Sense. we'll get a hold of you sometime within the next 7 days, and we'll listen to your story. I'll be able to tell you pretty quickly if it makes sense or not. I think I've done a pretty good job of describing what we're looking for there, but that's not all we look for. There's a lot of other things. It truly is a make sense. If you think it makes sense to do a home loan for you, and you've been turned down and you can't figure out why, and you're being told it's because of today's guidelines, you need to pick up the phone and call 817-925-2546. Reach out to me, and we'll put this we'll put your feelings to rest and either tell you, yeah, it makes sense, or I never say no. I say, no, not now. You need to do these things, and then I can get you there. I put my 14 years of experience in the business to work for you, and I love being able to problem solve, help people, make sure they make things happen. We try to get our documents to closing 3 days before closing at affiliated banks, so that there's no stress with those moving vans as you're buying a house or selling your house. So reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. You're listening to Real Talk Texas on KLIF, AM 570, News and Information Radio. Thanks for tuning in, and next week we're going to have more information about the real estate market in North Texas and give you the truth about what's happening in our local market, because a lot of things you're listening to on other broadcasts is about the national market, and that doesn't make much sense to us here in Texas. Y'all have a great day.